It's the time, big itch for time at time, with a little bit of love and chemical smell. So when you think you've reviewed every single crazy thing from AliExpress, you find the Gs5 Mini. But this is like a PlayStation 5 mini game stick thingy with PlayStation 4 knockoff controllers. Yeah, I think it can get more wicked than this. They're getting wild. Now we're going to be having support of 53 different emulators. From Atari, MAME, and Atari 7800 that actually is now on PlayStation Portable Go? Or PlayStation Portable... What? The logos are quite weird when it comes to that. So the CPS one is nowadays like an Asus ROG Ally, and you know the logos, oh man. We have 3D, PSP, HDR, 4K Ultra HD, like it's not today 8K or something like that. So the overall configuration, we do have like even 3 colors, didn't even know that by the way. Like I went for the blue one, but you also have the red one, and there seems to be a green one. And yeah, you can actually see the blue one over here. So but there's nothing much going on the box. So first of all, when you're going to be looking at the controller, yeah, this is like a PlayStation 4 knockoff. And I think it's pretty cool because, you know, this is actually the first time I have ever seen it. So well, the feel itself, got some really nice overall configuration of the shoulder buttons. Mostly like the fake PlayStation 5 ones are really cheap. They're okay. No triggers, like look at this. Having the ABXY, well, I feel okay. Having a decent feel of the D-pad, and have the similar, like original joystick, I would say quality, but the configuration. So I must say that, not bad. On and off switch, battery compartment for 2 batteries. I'm going to be needing the AAA batteries. So let's plug them in. Let's see if this thing even boots up. And there we go. LED indicates it's trying to search signal. So the next thing we're needing to do, the second controller over here. This is the system. And the system itself is translucent, so you can actually see what's inside. And one thing that's not inside is any cooling. Oh wait, no, there is like a piece of metal they glued on there. So having the SD card, I didn't see any different versions. Sometimes you have the option to go for 64, 128 or 256 gigabyte. I can't get it out. There we go. And it is 64 gigabyte, no brand. Because they want to get this thing corrupted, so you need to buy another one. Yeah, or that's what I think of it. USB at the back, USB-C for powering on, we're needing a 5 volt. Remove the cap, that makes this thing looks like a PlayStation 5 mini. So we have the PlayStation 5 game stick. So let's see what we're going to be finding more. So really important, USB dongle. I'm always losing these things. Let's plug this thing in here. USB-C cable, an extension cord, because this is super convenient, because even this thing is a stick you're going to be sticking in, because it's way too big, so you can fit it in. So I'm going to be using an extension. It's good that they're giving you this. So we're having the toilet paper manual mini deluxe. So game stick, controller, gamepad with different languages. So explanation how you need to set it up. Okay. Nevertheless, it doesn't make a lot of sense, just like some jabber about the game stick, and you know, nothing really important. So, new toilet paper manual, yeah. That's actually how I'm going to be connecting it. We're not going to be sticking it in anything. I'm just going to be plugging it in here. For the 5 volt, I would just like 2 amp minimum. If it's like a more heavier one, or like when it comes to the power, a heavier or more quality is better. Otherwise, you do have problems putting up. LED shows up. Next up, we're going to be seeing if the controller is connecting. Ooh. So it actually runs on Emulation 4.3. And the intro, man, that sounds really familiar. Isn't that like from Street Fighter? Seriously, they ripped off the original Street Fighter intro. Oh man. Wait, isn't that like Street Fighter from the Wow, oh man. They absolutely bringing this to the next level. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's the one actually from the modern systems. Okay, now Bottasera Linux. Okay, this is really weird overall combination. Oh, we got the background music again. Let me guess. Yeah, we got all kind of music. We do have the unlock UI modes, information. So that's absolutely awesome. Let's unlock the UI, because otherwise I cannot show you everything. So what you need to do is AAABA, and otherwise the other way around is BBBAB. But yes, it's unlocked. So what we can do, having more options. And the first thing, sound settings. Then we're going to be duty. What's it? Play music, what? No, I want to have to shut the freaking music down. Oh, silence, finally. So let's do a quick overview. So when it comes to the menu, I must say that it's a very cool, nice mix. So we're going to be having a lot of different systems indeed, like MSX, Vectrex, Super over Turbo Graphics from the PC Engine, Game & Watch. Having family computers, there is absolutely crazy amount. Some pictures a little bit of a bummer because they're like not. I think they're like having these very weird edges around it, like the Super NES. But maybe me being a little bit too nitpicky. But beside that, there's a lot of different platforms, so we're going to be doing a deep dive into the stick itself to see what can we do with it, how far we can push it. So let's see, like having Lego, that's kind of cool. So in here we're finding all kinds of Lego games from different platforms, GBA, Genesis, and you know, the same goes for Mega Man. You can see there are all kinds of Mega Mans over here. I find it pretty cool having all kinds of different editions. Even the Street Race 2 hacked version of The Simpsons on here. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And having all games, arcades and everything. You know, so the overall collection is pretty cool. Some of them are like really tiny. But again, you can just actually remove them if you want to when pressing start. Then we're going to be having the main menu from Emulation, where we can mess around with all kinds of settings. So if you want to deep dive into it, you have problems, you can just fix it over here. Game settings, so a game ratio, you can mess around with it if you want to. So let's see what's going on. So let's put it on, I think it's one of the settings you can mess around with if you want to go to auto. You can just mess around with it. It was interesting to see that it has been set to 9:16. Smooth games have been turned on. And here we can mess around with it if you want to have like different kind of configurations. The controller, if you want to set and control to a certain point, you can see we have two controllers because of the dongle configuration. So if you have like multiple controls, you can switch it out in here. UI settings, we can even go to the team settings, switch it out. And now with unlock settings, we can do so much more stuff. System settings, information. We're running 4.3 Emulation. Temperature's already like 59 Celsius, and that's a little bit of a problem with these general game sticks are getting way too hot in my opinion. And we do have like the Mali 450 MP, like a GPU. So this is like some really old school tech, similar to the first generation of the Super Console X lineup. But let's take a close look into, let's say, the list itself. And I must say that I am surprised how well the Atari section looks. We can press left and right over here to go into the section like the Atari 800, Atari 5200, Atari 7800, and so on and so on. And I must say everything seems to be looking so far so good, so that's a good thing. Like Astro Fire, let's boot into this game and see how it works. So yeah, we can actually play some Atari, but man, what a crazy noise. Oh, shut it down. By pressing select and start. All kinds of weird naming. You can actually see over here that is, it's absolutely one hot mess again. And we're in like CPS 1, so this is not correct. Let's see, let's boot up some games and see how they work. So let's go with the arcade. So the overall category system is completely messed up. That's one thing. But we can actually test some emulation of the Neo Geo, and we can see if the D-pad is perfect for fighting. If I don't press the freaking wrong button. And the guy gives me an opportunity to actually do something. No, it's not going to be for fighting games. Or was just actually pressing the wrong button? Yeah, I was pressing the wrong button. So I have like a massive brain fart over here. I do need to get to the D-pad, but yeah, it's not like the best D-pad out there, but it is playable when it comes to fighting game. Street Fighter, the movie arcade. So a game that is based, so they made a movie from a game, but they also made a game out of a movie. Yeah, that's completely weird. So fighting games are not going to be something I'm going to be liking with this controller, but oh man, seriously, like, shut up. Man, you know, sometimes you have these games where the CPU is so freaking annoying. But you know, when it comes to these game states, we have seen so many, and you know, when it comes to like say playing games, you know, they're going to be having no problem playing some 8-bit, 16-bit. Graphical wise, I love the PC Engine. Seriously, I love the system. The soundtracks alone, and the way how it sounds. Beep, 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 beep. And of course, let's play a little bit Battle City. Yeah. Ooh, almost got him. I love these tanks, the colored one, or the flickering one. Not because they're going to be whooping my ass, but actually getting the upgrade. Come on, I want. There we go. Oh, yeah, we got an upgrade. We got star. Come on. Haha, yes. No, 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 no. Ooh, that was a close one. There we go. And in the end, it doesn't matter what kind of 8-bit, 16-bit I'm throwing at it. It seems to be all booting up without any problems whatsoever. Oh, by the way, if you really hate this widescreen craziness, you know, you can just actually switch it out. When you're going to be reviewing multiple different, let's say, game sticks consoles, you can actually see that they're messing up or using the same kind of problematic images. Like this one, like GoldenEye. This isn't GoldenEye. And let's go into the cruising the world. And the result will always be the same most of the time, but some of the games take performing slightly better. We're using Parallel 64 now of the emulator through RetroArch. And so far, I must say that I have seen a lot of horrible emulation, but yeah, minor hiccups in the beginning, but now it's actually running pretty decent. So I'm always like wonders like why, maybe it's the chipset, maybe it's the overall configuration, because now it seems to be working fine. But don't get me wrong, the more demanding games on N64 will not run great or not at all, or they just removed it from the list that they know it doesn't work. How is the configuration of the DS? And it seems to be that, okay, we can actually play. Okay, there we go. How did they map it up? Like, I have no idea what happened. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's boot it up. Let's see what's going on. Okay, there is no way of... Oh man, they messed it up again. I mean... Show speed, yes. Fast forwards. Oh, without saving, return to the game. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Like it out... Yeah, it's completely messed up the configuration. The D-pad itself seems to be working fine. Okay, the pause has been set to L1. But the emulation performance of the DS seems to be working quite well. But it's messed up with the controller, because if you're going to be pressing the joystick right, we're getting the menu. Yeah. We can make a quick load, quick save, but let's just exit and do something else. Oh, Sega Genesis. Yes, I love this platform. But you know, they implemented a lot of hacked versions. You know, that's kind of cool. Adventure in the Park, Choo-Choo Rocket, okay. Adventures of Sky, where Shadow is actually like the main guy to play with. And you know, let's see what's going on. Alien Soldier, Storm. You know, there's a lot of cool ones. Amy and Sonic 1 and 2. You know, that's like one of the cool... Bob Gold mode, you cannot die. Okay. We have Battletoads, no idea what they changed out there. Sometimes they implemented it in the text so you know what's going on. So Bonanza Bros, I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing like Gold mode maybe. But you know, like a lot of cool things that they changed out to. What's this? Cactus juice and mustard. What? Let's boot it up. So this is a hack from 2007. Let's see what's going on. They're using the soundtracks and the engine of 2. Okay. I'm guessing new stages and everything else. Okay, so let's try some Dreamcast and Thomas Wave. Oh, that's absolutely an unplayable situation. Absolutely an unplayable situation. But now getting through the game, it's getting better, but no. This is not really enjoyable. There are actually only 3 games, and for a good reason. So you're going to be looking, there's no Sega Saturn, there's no actually Sega Dreamcast. So what they actually did, like the Thomas Wave that was made for the Dreamcast, that's the one they put on there. But, you know, nah. So this is not having a great support for Sega Dreamcast. That's quite unfortunate. But let's deep dive into PlayStation, because there's another system that had like a lot of potential. Okay, let's try the Die Hard Trilogy game and let's see if they implemented the audio. Nope, there was no music. And they're always doing this to just save up space, or they don't give a crap. It's quite unfortunate because this Die Hard Trilogy has such a cool soundtrack. So yeah, but when it comes to emulation performance with PlayStation 1, we actually reached the point some time ago that we can actually play these games without any problem whatsoever. We cannot upscale them. We did try that on, let's say, mini PC with Bodasera, but out of the box. And I'm playing on a 24-inch display, but if you're going to be using this on like a 40-inch display, oh boy. I always find it fascinating, like this guy is dropping like a machine gun, I cannot pick it up, I need to go into the bloody truck to get myself and create it. Freaking machine gun. Walking out like the Terminator. Reset. So when it comes to actually the overall configuration of the PlayStation Portable, you know, this thing has a lot of cool games, let's be honest. But if you're going to be looking into the emulation performance, this is just going to be a hit or miss. With the simple reason because the PlayStation Portable is way too difficult to emulate. They didn't even implement Sega Saturn. And this is what oh man, it's like this Spanish version that they also using for this. Freaking annoying. So they didn't implement the frame skip, or they did. It's kind of funny that it automatically switches, or that's like how it looks. So let's go with, yeah, let's go with medium. No thanks. Oh crap, the tutorial. Let's just try that again. So I'm really wondering, like, we're hitting not even 50, or we're not even hitting the 40, yeah, we do hit the 40 now, like 50, 60, like whatever, it goes all place when it comes to the frames, like it's actually like automatically getting to 30 frames now. So the frame skip had been set to automatic, detecting if it's going to be having problems. Now it goes back to 60, what a mess. Wow, the screen vibrates like crazy. You know, you can actually play this game if you're going to be setting it to 1 times the resolution. But it's cool that they absolutely mapped the buttons correctly, like the original game. So I can do all of the moves. So at that point, like when it comes to emulation performance, yeah, this is what I expected for the PlayStation Portable. But they didn't configure it correctly, because normally you should like put in a frame skip 1. That's it. And now you can see it goes all places. And that is quite unfortunate. It's ruining, actually destroying the overall gaming experience. Virtual tennis. So let's see what happens if you're going to be getting into the gameplay. It's just a different game. Oh. So this one runs way better than the second game. Hoppa! So it does actually hit like 60 frames. Quite stable. And this is absolutely enjoyable. Yeah! But the listing itself, it's absolutely a mess. What a mess with those dual screen pictures, everything. Oh boy. You know, that's one of the many things I really hate about these images, that they're like really bad. So I think where we're going to be having a really cool thing with the PlayStation Portable, if you're going to be having, some games are actually playable, like the virtual tennis. But you know, when we're going to be playing just simple games, this is not going to be a problem whatsoever. Woohoo! I think where these games are, or these game sticks are just fine for. Oh, that was lame. However, you're getting the point. The one thing is clear is that when it comes to playing these games, yeah, you can actually play them, and many of them will run quite well. I think, but we have seen a lot of different kind of, let's say, plug and play devices that can just do this fine, you know, like having a lot of different ones that can play a Mortal Kombat without any problem. But after reviewing a gazillion of these things, you can actually see that we had so many problems with many different systems. Like the tiny things, you know, the listings are not correctly, like some of the games are not running perfectly. But yeah, this is just like a hot mess. And we have seen it a gazillion times actually now. But this is what you're getting when it comes to like support. I will mainly want to focus on the more demanding emulators because the simple stuff, the old school stuff, will run just fine most of the time. But one of the more concerning elements that this thing is already hitting like 71 freaking Celsius. And I think that is another problem with these game sticks. They're getting just way too hot. So that is the thing when it comes to these game sticks. You know, it's absolutely an overall, let's say, product that is not going to be being used for, let's say, a very long time period. I've read a lot of people having issues like quality issues, SD cards getting corrupted. And then one of the things that you need to take consideration, they're like really inexpensive. But yeah, still, if you're going to be having only a very short time period of fun with it, there we go. I don't know if you can open it up like that. Not as I'm going to be needing because there is you can actually see a lot through the shell. There is some cooling, but there is nothing much going on here. It's absolutely fascinating to see that they keep producing these freaking things. And I can tell you, they're not getting any better. So construction-wise, there are some improvements. Don't get me wrong, like when you're going to be looking at the controllers, everything is better than those PlayStation 2 chemical controllers. So yeah, there are still way better controllers. It's still like the cheap edition out there. So the game stick is nothing very important, but I think it's like the same stuff that we have seen before, like the low-run chips. But we do have like a lot of stuff we can actually play. However, we do find a lot of limitations, and they should like remove everything that doesn't run. So also like optimization has not been done with a lot of game lists. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this, and it would be great to see you in the next video.